Hey guys, so I'm back with another live video, and today what I want to do is discuss Bitcoin price targets for 2024, 2025, and for the distant future and for all time. And what I'm going to do is I don't want to go down the traditional route of just giving you my opinion because look, I'm an idiot. I don't know where Bitcoin's going to go. Really, nobody truly knows, and anyone that tells you that they can predict with accuracy where Bitcoin or any currency is going to go in the future, you got to beware of those people because they're probably lying because nobody can predict this stuff for sure. But what I want to do and what I'm going to do in this video is just take some information from a few different sources, see what they're saying, get some optimistic points of view, some pessimistic points of view, some points of view in the middle, and want people that do real good technical analysis give you their opinion, and then just my opinion, just based on very little technical analysis, just based on almost childlike opinions, because sometimes those childlike opinions are just the simplest things. We overcomplicate these things too much. So let's get into it and let's look at what I think is possible. So, okay, I'm starting off first with this guy on Twitter, and his name is Master or @MoneyTar, and I really love this guy for a number of reasons. I've been following him for a while, and I see that he's super accurate in his predictions. Now, he's super accurate in his predictions in terms of I've been watching how he'll predict things over the course of months, kind of when the market's just going through a bear market or trading side to side. I haven't seen his predictions in terms of going through bull markets. So basically, this guy he's what's known as a technical analyst, and he'll look at charts of cryptocurrencies or things like Bitcoin, and he'll use past data. He'll look at key liquidity levels, and he'll think how the market is thinking, and he'll think how automated bots within the market are trading, and he'll see those key levels, and from that he'll work out where crypto's going in the future. But probably, in my opinion, for bull runs, he seems a little bit pessimistic. But it's always good to get pessimistic points of view, because a pessimistic point of view kind of protects us from getting overexcited or overexposing ourselves in markets like this. So basically what MoneyTar or Master has been saying for the last 2 years is that Bitcoin is going to top out at around $91,000. And what this guy thinks is that we are in the middle of a bull run right now. And this is, I think you would describe it as a left-skewed bull run. So the bull run has started early, in his opinion, and it's going to end at the end of 2024. And the reason that he believes this is because he thinks that smart money is trying to take, retail investors like me, try and take our money, and they're basically tricking us into putting all our money in, expecting this huge run that goes from 2024 into 2025, when all that smart money will actually get out then, and me and people like me will be left holding the bag. So he expects Bitcoin to top out around $91,000 near the end of 2024. And he's been saying that since 2022. So that's the pessimistic point of view, but one that's really worth taking note of. But what's good about it is, even though it's a pessimistic point of view, he still expects Bitcoin and the whole cryptocurrency market, not including Bitcoin and Ethereum, to go up quite a lot. And if you're wondering what Total 2 is, that's the top 100 crypto coins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And he's thinking 2.49 trillion is where that market's going to top. So let's move on to another guy that I love to follow, that I think's really good, and his name is Dr. Profit. And this guy, again, seems to be super accurate. I don't quite trust his well, maybe I do. I seem to trust Master on his morals a little bit more than Dr. Profit, and I don't know why. I think Dr. Profit might be into manipulating markets, but I could be wrong. Let's see. But his expectation, and he's just changed it recently, so he's not kind of doubling down on his expectation like Master was here. He has just changed it recently, and he's getting a target, or he's giving a target. So he expects, a typical bull run that's going to go through 2024, and then it's going to peak in mid 2025 at around $170,000 to $180,000 dollars for one Bitcoin, and that's what his expectation is. And he's just saying, that the halving is starting in 2 weeks, and the super cycle, because that's what he calls it, a super cycle, this is going to be one of the biggest cycles ever for the whole crypto market. It's just loading and getting going right now. So that's still, it's a super bullish target. But still, some people's opinions, that would be maybe a not so optimistic target even. For me, this is probably the sort of target I'd like to go with, because I always like to go in the middle, but I'm going to be adapting adapting my strategy and where I see the market going as it evolves. So yeah, really worth following on Twitter as well, Dr. Profit. So I'd really recommend following him and Monitor and taking their opinions. Doesn't mean they're right, but just taking their opinions, and you're definitely going to see that they're right quite a lot about a lot of things. And thirdly, I got to go on to one of my favorite crypto influencers on Twitter, and this guy isn't like Dr. Profit and Monitor, who are both doing technical analysis of market and looking at charts. This guy's more kind of like I would be, just taking a feeling, and he's finding projects early and trying to make as much money as he can out of them. Nothing's ever proven, but I've seen this guy, hit the nail on the head so many times. He finds a project, and that project goes through the roof in no time. And he's wrong sometimes as well. I've seen him, there's been rug pulls as well. I've seen him, talking about projects, and they haven't turned out to be good projects. They turned out to be scams. But when he's really got high conviction on a project, which is very rare, it usually blows up. And, obviously then this guy has, I think he seems like a good guy, but obviously he's also got the thing of he wants to push these projects to do well, because he wants to make a profit. But I think he's a genuinely good guy. So what he's saying for his prediction is he's expecting this cycle to be around 180,000 to 210,000 per coin, and he's been saying that since 2022, and he remains unchanged. So he's like Master in that he's been predicting this, been making these predictions since 2022. Now, what I would say is the only one that's changed their expectation recently is Dr. Profit, and you could think that shows a lack of certainty in his predictions, but when you think about it, none of these people, I think, expected a new all-time high to be reached before the halving, at least, especially not a month before the halving. So super bullish prediction here from Braver Crypto, and yeah, that's an interesting one. So I think I've given you three kind of targets there. The one from Master, which is the most pessimistic one, doesn't even think we're going to hit $100,000. He thinks that this is all a manipulated market, which it is, but he thinks it's all kind of a game, and we're going to get caught out by expecting Bitcoin to blow over 100,000. Then you've got Dr. Profit, kind of more medium range, expecting around 170 to 180,000 target. And then you've got Braver Crypto, who's thinking 180,000 to 210, and is probably the most optimistic here. But then you've got other people who are thinking Bitcoin can go way higher than that. And the way I look at these markets is I'm always kind of looking for the manipulation side of things. And my friend Cayman shared this with me recently. I didn't know about this, but central banks, starting in 2025, so January 2025, they're going to be able to hold 2% of their foreign exchange reserves in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other altcoins. Now, I think the timing of things is always interesting, and we think the Bitcoin ETF approval came just before the Bitcoin halving, and now you look at this when we would expect to be in the middle of a bull run. This news is going to come out, and there's probably loads of other news that I don't actually know about, and feel free to share that news in the comments, and I'll look into it. But there's probably going to be so much good news coming out over this next year that's going to be driving the market up, that we're not expecting to see. And then, it's always the same. Then when we get into bear markets, it's nothing but bad news. Like Luna's crashing, or what happened with Luna happens. What happened with FTX happens. But during bull runs, all of a sudden, all the good news comes out, and there's probably so much good news timed to come out over the next year. But I thought this was really interesting to see that this is going to happen mid bull run more than likely, or as Master puts it, he thinks the bull run's going to end in 2024. Well, just as the bull run's going to be ending, in his opinion, central banks are going to be able to start buying cryptocurrencies. So that's an interesting thing to think about. Not saying that anyone's right or wrong, just an interesting thought right there. And now just giving my own point of view. So taking away anything that these guys who are, really smart crypto geniuses, and really successful crypto people are, let's just take an idiot like me who looks at things like a child. And sometimes that's a good way to look at things. It's just kind of just looks at what's in front of them and doesn't think about technical analysis, doesn't think about, history, doesn't think about anything, just kind of just looks at something and sees what's going on and thinks to himself, oh, this is the way it looks to me. So if we look, this is Bitcoin's chart since since 2014. I just zoomed in on it, and we've got then we're just after 2013 and some mild jumps in Bitcoin's price, and then we go here to 2017 when we got the first major blow off bull run, when people were like, oh my god, this is a real thing, this is going to be huge. Then we went through a bear market, but even during that bear market, you see the levels during that bear market were still crazy. Like the floor of Bitcoin and the whole crypto market had risen so much. And then you take 2021 when we got this massive bull run that we got the last time, when we hit, I think, 68,000 on the peak up here, and then we go into 2024, where we're kind of supposed to be gearing up towards the next bull run, but then some people say we're in the middle of the bull run. So if bull runs happen every 4 years, then you would say we should be around the point of 2020 here on this chart, but we've already cleared the all-time high, and we should be expecting the bull run to run into something like 2025. So like, just looking at these charts, it looks like we're going to see this crazy explosion happen here. Like, just in simple terms, I mean, you look from here to here, and where's the next top going to be? It's going to be off my screen, you would imagine. If I was to look at just kind of this chart here, again, not as a super analyst or anything like that, but I look at, after the 2017 bull run, it was kind of a trade sideways. Obviously, there was a lot of bad news. The market dipped drastically in that time. Then we look here, we see a similar sort of scenario. Market dropped drastically around this time, 2023. Most likely, a lot of those drops were, something like maybe the Luna news, maybe FTX news. I'm not even sure what was going on at these times, but it seems kind of similar to this drop here. And then we get a recovering market, which we have here, a recovering market. Then you get, a large dip. We got a large dip here. Then you get your market recovering. And next thing, we're getting up here. Now, when we land up here, you're wondering, like, where might this point been historically? Was it this point? that we're going to, but I think it's probably kind of more like this, because it's this point down here, because we're going to the point before the bull run in some respects. And I think at this point I looked up, we're around $16,000 for a Bitcoin, and then it ran to about 4 times that height, up to around 68,000 or something like that. So, with that in mind, we could be seeing, Bitcoin, if it went 4 times this high, we could be seeing it up around $240,000. I think that's realistic. I think, like, if we're just following historically the way the market went, then we're probably going to see a large bull run over the next year anyway. And yeah, that's where my head's at with it. But I don't really know. I'm ready for all possibilities. Anything could happen. And the last thing just to look at here is, if you look then at currencies, and we're thinking about the long-term future, but currencies all over the world and their actual market cap in terms of Bitcoin, we can see that China has the top currency, the US dollar is next, the euro. We can work all the way down, but Bitcoin is here 14th place and climbing all the time. And when you think, like, there was a time Bitcoin, not so long ago, nobody took Bitcoin seriously. Nobody thought that you'd see Bitcoin above 10, above $1, above $10, above $100, above 1,000. No one expected then above 10,000. Now almost everyone is expecting to see Bitcoin above 100,000. I mean, long term, $1 million Bitcoin, I think it's probably, pretty very likely. I think, for a 10 million Bitcoin is probably pretty likely. Like, the way things are trending, it's hard to see how Bitcoin wouldn't become the top currency in the world by market cap in the future. Not guaranteed, but I just mean it's a lot less strange to see Bitcoin now go to the top, to be the top currency in the world by market cap, than it was to see Bitcoin come from nothing to where it is now. So yeah, look, I'm not a Bitcoin investor. I invest in alts. This is by no means financial advice. I'm just an idiot, like I said, just giving my opinion on what I see out there. I'm prepared for everything, but I'm mainly invested in alts. The alt market is going to follow the same trajectory as Bitcoin, and I think that we are probably in for one crazy bull run, and I'm excited to see how it pans out. Okay, guys, thank you, and I'll see you on the outside.